The hangar smelled of oil, steel, and dust, the kind of scent that never left a soldier's clothes, no matter how many times they washed them. It was midday, the Afghan sun burning white through the open bay doors. Inside, Specialist Erin Locke sat cross-legged at a long metal table, quietly cleaning a disassembled M110 sniper rifle. She didn't say a word. She rarely did. The rest of the platoon was scattered around the space, laughing, talking, pretending to be busy. Most of them hadn't even noticed her at first. She was new to their forward operating base, transferred from another unit after a classified mission went sideways. Her file was thin, her demeanor silent. To them, she was just another weapons tech, nothing more. That illusion lasted until Sergeant First Class Riker walked in. Riker was a legend among marksmen. He'd served with the best and never missed an opportunity to remind everyone. His last confirmed kill was at 3,100 meters, a record few could touch. When he spotted Erin working on the M110, he smirked, tugging at his cap. "Didn't think they let armorers touch sniper rifles," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. Erin didn't look up. "They don't," she replied softly, "unless they can shoot better than the snipers." That drew a few laughs. Riker stepped closer, eyeing her calm hands. "You saying you can? I'm saying I can clean your rifle without scratching it," she said, finally glancing up, her eyes cold and unreadable. He studied her, then leaned in, voice dropping. "I heard you transferred in from Bagram. You their quartermaster or something?" She just shrugged. The silence stretched until one of the younger soldiers, Corporal Diaz, jumped in, grinning. "Hey, Sarge, let her prove it. Range is clear this afternoon. What's the worst that could happen?" Riker chuckled, looking back at her. "Fine. 4,000 meters. That's over 2.5 miles. I'll even spot for you. You up for it?" Erin didn't answer. She just began reassembling the rifle in clean, precise motions, bolt, barrel, stock, bipod, everything locked in place with practiced rhythm. Then she stood and slung the weapon over her shoulder. "Where's your range?" she asked simply. The men followed her out, curiosity quickly turning into excitement. By the time they reached the edge of the base, half the camp had gathered near the perimeter wall. The target, a steel plate the size of a helmet, was barely visible through the haze on the far ridge. Even with binoculars, it shimmered like a mirage. Riker set up his own rifle beside her. "Winds 12 knots left to right, uphill gradient," he said, checking his anemometer. "You'll need to account for drop and spin drift." "That's about." "I know," Erin said quietly, adjusting the bipod. She lay prone, her face calm, movements economical. The murmurs behind her faded. For a long moment, she didn't move. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out a single, hand-loaded round. The casing had a small mark on it, the faint symbol of a phoenix. Riker frowned. "You hand-load. Only for serious shots." She chambered the round, exhaled slowly, and put her eye to the scope. Through the glass, the world narrowed, dust, mirage, heat waves. Her finger rested lightly on the trigger guard, never tensing. "Range confirmed. 3,986 meters, Riker said. "Good luck, rookie." She didn't respond. Instead, she made 3 quick corrections to her scope, something even Riker hadn't noticed, subtle, precise. Then she whispered, "Send it." The rifle barked, a deep, sharp crack that echoed off the canyon walls. Everyone waited, counting the seconds. 1, 2, 3. Then, ping. A metallic ring floated back through the dry air. The crowd went still. Riker blinked, unsure if he'd heard it right. He adjusted his own scope, peering through the heat shimmer. The target had a clean hole, dead center. She'd hit it. "Lucky shot," Riker muttered, trying to sound casual. "Try doing it again." Without a word, Erin loaded another round. Same breath, same stillness, same impossible patience. Crack, ping. This time, even the wind seemed to stop. The men erupted, laughter, disbelief, a chorus of whistles and shouts. Erin stayed quiet, ejecting the spent casing. Riker crouched beside her, still trying to process it. "No one gets 2 center hits at that range," he said, shaking his head. "Not even half the snipers have trained." Erin gave a faint smile. "You trained snipers?" "Yeah, U.S. Army marksmanship unit." "Then maybe," she said, "you trained under Captain Locke." Riker froze. The name hit him like a bullet. Captain Erin Locke. The sniper who'd broken the 4,000-meter record 3 years ago in northern Iraq. The one who disappeared after a classified mission went silent. He looked at her again, the calm hands, the focus, the confidence she'd carried the whole time. It wasn't arrogance. It was experience. Holy hell, he whispered. She corrected softly. Was Captain Locke. Now I clean guns. The air went silent again, every soldier realizing what they were standing next to, a living legend disguised as a quiet weapons tech. Riker stood, unsure whether to salute or apologize. Why'd you quit? He finally asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she gathered the brass casings, pocketed them, and slung the rifle back over her shoulder. Because sometimes, she said finally, the quiet work matters more than the loud shots. She turned to leave, but Riker called after her. Ma'am, Captain, whatever you want to be called, the unit could use someone like you on the range. Maybe teach the rookies what real precision looks like. She stopped, half smiling over her shoulder. Precision can't be taught. Patience can. And with that, she walked back toward the hangar, disappearing into the glare. Later that evening, Riker found her alone again, wiping down the rifle. He set a small box on the table, a box of hand-loaded rounds, each marked with the same Phoenix symbol. I didn't know who you were, he said quietly. I should've. She looked at him, then at the box. Doesn't matter who I was. What matters is the shot. Then maybe you can help us make more of them, he said. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she nodded, just once. The next morning, when the trainees came to the range, they found her already there, setting up targets farther than any of them had ever shot before. She didn't wear rank insignia, didn't give speeches. She just pointed to the distant ridge and said, "You'll miss the first 50. Then maybe you'll start seeing the wind." Weeks passed. Word spread. Every soldier who trained under her began hitting farther, faster, calmer. They called her, Ghost Phoenix, the sniper who could make bullets fly like whispers. Riker watched one day as a young corporal made a perfect hit at 2,800 meters. The kid turned, grinning, and Erin simply said, "Good. Now double it." When Riker asked her why she kept pushing them, she smiled faintly. Because one day, distance won't be the limit. Nerves will. Months later, a special operations unit passing through the base requested a demonstration. They didn't know who she was, just that the platoon had an impossible hit rate. When she stepped to the firing line and someone mentioned her name, one of the SEALs went pale. "Locke," he said quietly. As in the Locke shot. The others turned toward her. She didn't react. She simply adjusted her scope, checked her wind, and pulled the trigger. Ping. 4,000 meters. Dead center. The SEAL nodded slowly, then turned to Riker. "You're lucky. Most people only read about her." That night, Riker saw her sitting outside, cleaning the same rifle under the stars. "You ever miss the noise?" he asked. She looked up at the endless Afghan sky and said, "No. I still hear it every time I breathe." Then she smiled faintly. "But out here, it finally echoes less." And as the desert wind carried the silence across miles of sand, everyone on that base knew one thing: you didn't challenge Erin Locke unless you were ready to learn what real distance meant.